Mobile Task Force Unit Kappa 10, Skynet, is mainly tasked with engaging and combating cyber anomalies, which are intangible and purely digital. Due to this, Skynet doesn't really look like your typical MTF unit with heavy weapons and gear, but is rather just a bunch of nerds at desks. One cyber anomaly that they work to combat is SCP-1549, which is a script titled belowaverage.js. There is a random set of websites that have this script active, and when a human visits a website that has the script, the screen becomes a literal portal into the website, which allows a human to step into the screen and sort of enter the website. This inner website room shows digital information as physical objects that the individual can interact with, and some websites even have humanoid figures that represent systems or constructs within the website, such as receptionists. All website rooms affected by SCP-1549 are connected with tunnels, allowing you to pretty much explore the internet physically. MTF Unit Lambda-5, White Rabbits, are trained to explore and traverse realities that are deemed unstable or surreal, as well as to deal with whatever entities reside within these realities. Examples include pocket dimensions or other non-Euclidean spaces, such as SCP-4507, which is a random, normal-appearing alleyway in Tokyo that has been measured to be 152 meters long via satellite imagery. However, if an individual enters the alleyway alone, the alleyway will stretch on forever, and the individual will be unable to escape. Members of Lambda-5 are often sent into the alley for search and rescue missions of such trapped individuals. Lambda-14, one-star reviewers, specializes in working with anomalies related to retail and food businesses, ranging from small single restaurants to chain restaurants to whole shopping districts. Specifically, they work to combat the Ambrose restaurant owned by Chaz Ambrose, which is a chain of restaurants all across both Earth and other extra-dimensional locations that serve anomalous food and have strange practices, such as SCP-4554 and SCP-3689. Although the Foundation actively works to shut down Ambrose locations, Ambrose employees never fight back and are not hostile, often choosing to just run away. The one-star reviewers are composed of 2 containment teams, 50 mobile agents, 10 thaumaturgy specialists, and 20 anomalous art specialists, as well as currently being based out of Site-34 in Southern California. Unit Mu-0, Maxwell's Demons, works to contain and investigate demons or demonology-related anomalies, such as SCP-2254, which is a massive hostile entity that exists within a higher dimension that we cannot visually observe, therefore rendering it invisible, which is the definition of a demonic entity in many religions. MTF Unit Mu-13, Ghostbusters, specialize in containing intangible or incorporeal entities, otherwise known as ghosts. Examples of SCPs they work to contain are SCP-460 and SCP-2227. Armed Mobile Task Force Unit Nu-7, Hammer Down, is an extremely large and heavily armed battalion-strength task force that consists of multiple platoons such as a tank platoon, light armored vehicle platoon, a chemical warfare platoon, infantry forces, and multiple others. Based out of Area 14 in the Ruby Mountains of Nevada, they are essentially the size of a small army and are bigger and more equipped than the militaries of literally hundreds of countries. Hammer Down is usually called in to deal with massive threats and site breaches, usually caused by a very powerful anomaly or a rival group of interest. There are 3 scenarios that they respond to, which occur when a Foundation site broadcasts either a code red, white, or gray. Code red is when a large-scale aggressor, or a SCP above 30 meters in height, has broken containment. Code white is when a facility is being attacked by a hostile group of interest that has broken through on-site security. And code gray is the same as code white, but hostile individuals arose from inside the site, usually in the form of undercover staff members. Unit Xi-8, Last to Fall, is another battalion-strength task force, similar to Hammer Down, that specializes in terminating or containing sarkic entities or artifacts. Sarkicism is a religious system based on the belief in the Grand Karsus Ion, which is the deified founder of Sarkicism. The basic beliefs of Sarkicism state that an individual can ascend to godhood through apotheosis. The universe consists of multiple lesser gods that should be consumed to acquire power, and that sickness is reverent in that it purges the weak. Due to the presence of Sarkic cults all over the world, Xi-8 is stationed in every continent excluding Antarctica. MTF Unit Omicron Rho, the Dream Team, consists of a group of operatives who have undergone difficult and intense training and techniques to become honorary, which basically allows them to enter people's dreams and contain anomalies who also reside in the dream world. Pi-1, City Slickers, works to contain anomalies specifically in heavily populated urban areas, primarily the New York City metropolitan area. Due to this, they are based out of Site-28 in Soho, New York City. One example of an anomaly they work to contain is SCP-602, which is an apartment in New York City that houses an invisible entity that is hostile towards and attacks any humans who enter the apartment, transforming them into a sculpture and putting them on display in the apartment. Unit Row 1, the Professors, are assigned to monitor the group Alexilvia University, which is a group of interest that exists in a parallel dimension where Roman and Greek cultures spread heavily to the Western Hemisphere. Due to their transport of anomalies from their universe to ours, it has been geographically inferred that the university is located somewhere in Tennessee. However, in the parallel universe it resides in, the area is called Alexandria Sylvanos. Row 9, Technical Support, is pretty much just the Foundation's own internal computer security team. However, given that thousands of entries within the database literally have deadly memetic agents in them, this job could get pretty dangerous. Unit Sigma 3, Bibliographers, are tasked with going undercover into the anomalous community outside of the Foundation to gather intelligence and data. They have a particular focus on the Wanderer's Library, which usually leads to confrontations and interactions with members of the Serpent's Hand. Unit Sigma 9, Valkyries, are a smaller MTF unit, primarily working with aerial anomalies such as SCP-3952, which is a Boeing Stearman Model 72 biplane trainer that flies around with seemingly infinite fuel, piloted by a dog. MTF Unit Sigma 66, 16 tons, is made up of captured prisoners of other groups of interest, such as the Chaos Insurgency and Serpent's Hand. The Foundation obviously sees some sort of value in these individuals' skills and knowledge, whatever that might be, which is why they keep them around. Due to their nature, these individuals pretty much have no loyalty to the Foundation, and really only work for the Foundation in fear of being terminated. Mobile Task Force Unit Tau-5, Samsara, is a task force composed of exactly 4 immortal cyborg clones that do not experience fear, pain, or any other emotions. These clones were created from the flesh of the Lord of Endowments, which was a deity that manifested in Spain in the 10th century, but later his power started to wither away, so he buried his physical body and separated his mind and spirit from it. Later in the 20th or 21st century, during an initiative called Project Samsara that focused on improving cellular regeneration techniques in humans, aiming to increase the resilience and longevity of the human body, they unearthed the Lord of Endowments' body in the Tabernas Desert in Spain, and created the clones, called the Samsara Squad, from the flesh, which was made of cells that could endlessly regenerate. Due to the immortal nature of the clones, Tau-5 is usually deployed to very violent and dangerous situations that would be fatal to most human-based task forces. Unit Resh-1, Seat of Consciousness, reports directly to the administrator of the Foundation and primarily serves to balance the power of Alpha-1, Red Right Hand, who reports directly to the O5 Council. Upsilon-4, Sugar Pill, was originally formed specifically to contain SCP-2559, which is a memetic virus that if a person believes they are infected with, they actually become infected. Aside from SCP-2599, Upsilon-4 also works to contain other memetic viruses or contagions, such as SCP-3519. MTF Unit Upsilon-11, Avalon's Wake, uses SCP-4793, which is an ancient Greek warrior that emerged from a carved stone slab to engage in combat with against members of the Chaos Insurgency. Upsilon-23, Art Critics, focus on containing anart, which is just anomalous art. Most of the anart they contain is from a group of interest called Are We Cool Yet, which is an unorganized collective of artists that create anart, which have proven an issue for the Foundation, as they usually expose their anomalous art to the public, which has either caused fatalities for innocent civilians or revealed details of anomalies to the public, which is what the Foundation's whole mission is against. Mobile Task Force Unit Phi 2, Clever Girls, specialize in containing anomalies that are prehistoric in nature, such as dinosaurs. One example is SCP-3467, which is a bush moa that supposedly went extinct in the 15th century that causes dizziness, amnesia, and blindness to any sentient being that attempts to capture it, effectively making it unable to be captured except by automated non-sentient devices. MTF Unit Chi-7, Plague Tamers, exclusively work in the containment of pathogenic anomalies, and are based out of Site-234, which is disguised as a pharmaceutical research center in Birmingham, Alabama. One SCP they study is SCP-2431, which is a group of misfolded ATP synthase proteins that have clumped together to form a singular mass, possessing around the same level of intelligence as a small child. Unit Chi-9, Page Turners, work to study, recover, and contain anomalous books and literature. Psi-7, Home Improvement, specializes in working with anomalous buildings or anomaly contained within buildings, specifically in residential areas. Psi-7 is based out of Site 77 in southern Italy, which is a fake administrative building for the South Carter Mining Company. One example of an anomaly that Psi-7 works to contain is SCP-574, which is a normal-looking 6-story building in South Korea. However, if any animal enters the building and stays inside for 30 minutes straight, they will slowly begin to phase into the floor or walls. Over the next 2 hours, the organism will completely flatten into the floor or walls, with its body slowly transforming into wood, concrete, or any other materials that the building is made of. Psi-8, the Silencers, focus on containing and investigating individuals affected by reanimation anomalies, which basically just means zombies. They also frequently communicate with the paranormal along with objects related to the paranormal. Unit Psi-9, Abyss Gazers, is a battalion-strength task force similar in size to Nu-7 and Psi-8 that is a joint task force consisting of members from both the SCP Foundation and the Global Occult Coalition. The members of Psi-9 are trained in unconventional warfare methods, such as using certain occult items and knowledge to their advantage. MTF Unit Omega-0, Ara Oran, consists of only deceased Foundation members, all of whom have had their consciousness uploaded to the Foundation's database and server system. In this intranet space, they digitally fight informational threats and entities such as SCP-2111, which is an entity that pretty much just eats people's memories. Very few individuals within the Foundation are aware of Omega-0's existence as well. Mobile Task Force Unit Omega-1, Law's Left Hand, answers directly to the Ethics Committee and does not take any orders from the O5 Council. Thus, they have the authority to remove or terminate any high-ranking Foundation personnel, including O5 Council members, if they are violating the rules set forth by the Ethics Committee. They assist in balancing the power of the O5 Council and their task force, Unit Alpha-1, Red Right Hand. Omega-7, Pandora's Box, was a task force consisting of humanoid SCPs that were deemed cooperative, such as SCP-076 and SCP-105, however it has since been decommissioned. Omega-7 is very similar to Unit Alpha-9, which I covered in my Part 1 of this video. Unit Omega-20, Thought Police, work to contain persons of interest, which are usually the leaders or high-ranking officials of the Foundation's groups of interest, such as Chaz Ambrose, who is the owner of the Ambrose Restaurant Group, and Vincent Anderson, who is the CEO of Anderson Robotics. Unit Stigma-9, evolved from naturally occurring gears, levers, and pulleys, is a task force that was specifically designed to combat and dismantle the Church of the Broken God, which is a cult-like group of individuals that are trying to reconstruct a broken mechanical god, whose parts consist of numerous SCPs in Foundation custody. They are extremely hostile to the Foundation and its personnel, hence why Stigma-9 was created to neutralize them. Unit Delta-3, Solomon's Hand, was created in 1985 as part of a program to form a task force with agents that had paranormal abilities. They were based out of Site 246, which is at the bottom of Lake Superior. However, Delta-3 was dissolved in 1990. Unit Titan-1, Off the Books, are deployed specifically to protect important personnel within the Foundation. They are basically the Foundation's secret service.